SSA fans react. Tuesday, yeah, 7 o'clock, 7:10. It's very strange to be coming live, but I think we all know what's happened earlier on. Come out that the shares have been leaked out. I say leaked out. I'm just going to read a statement out via The Athletic. The journalists Philip Buckingham and Michael Walker. A Sunderland chairman, Kirill Louis-Dreyfus, has admitted he owns just a 41% stake in the League One club. Louis-Dreyfus, who became the AFL's youngest chairman, aged 23, when he first arrived in English football 12 months ago, has only ever stated he has a controlling stake in Sunderland. The previous ownership group, comprising of Stuart Donald, Juan Sartori, and Charlie Methven, were known to have retained a shareholding, but the club previously told fans in November that details could not be revealed due to a confidentiality clauses in the takeover deal. Fans have been promised openness and transparency by Louis-Dreyfus, the son of Robert, the former owner of Marseille, and it is now known that the Swiss own less than a majority shareholding. In response to the questions put to Sunderland by the Athletic, a club statement to the supporters confirmed Louis-Dreyfus owns 41% with Donald, who had previously held a majority between 2018 and 2020 and still holds 34%. So obviously Sartori as well, he's got 20 and Methven 5. So altogether they own 59%. So they basically still call the shots. Obviously they released that, and then other journalists, Phil Smith and James Hunter, obviously also released statements via Twitter. So yeah, in a nutshell, KLD has got 41%, Stuart Donald 34%, Juan Sartori 20%, and Charlie Methven has got 5%. Now, considering the relationship between the supporters and the owners is at an all-time low, I have to apologise. I'm not feeling too well at the moment, so I'm just doing this pretty quickly. But yeah. The relationship between the owners and the supporters is at an all-time low. It's this is another kick in the teeth, but it's been on the supporters' minds. Why do they keep it quiet of who owns what? That was a bit suspicious, wasn't it? Let's be honest. When they didn't release what shares who had what, but obviously tomorrow, Kirill Louis-Dreyfus and I don't know if Stuart Donald's going to be there, and Sartori. They've got a meeting with the Red and White Army and the supporters liaisons tomorrow. So I think he's basically said this now, but it's going to come up tomorrow. I mean, it's just it's a massive kick in the teeth, isn't it? I mean, I don't know where to start with it. I think seeing Charlie Methven at the games recently, he's like, I've said it in my interviews as well. He's like that annoying turd what will not flush. Every time a Sunderland fan sees him anywhere near any of the games or anywhere near the ground, you've never seen him at the Stadium Light because he wouldn't dare come here. Because the fans have got that much hatred towards him. It's not good. But anyway, just give us your thoughts and your views. I'll talk a bit more, but I'll just go to the live chat because there's plenty of people in there. Joanne Punchin is in the live chat. I'll just read everybody out because these are all coming on. So this is what does my head on this. Sorry about this. Right. Good evening, the kitchen coming, Jude. Something like all right, Sean, lad. Even Alyssa Rowell. Fair play, Sean, says Nigel Dunn. Yeah, cheers, Nigel. Yeah, it's like to see it's another kick in the teeth, isn't it? I mean, and it makes you wonder now with the Jermaine Defoe deal, was that a diversion to take away, because the pressure was right on.
Right. Sorry, I've got to maybe not the most convenient time for myself because I'm actually out trying to pick up me pizza. However, this couldn't wait. I just want to give my views on this very, very quickly. I knew that Donald and Methven were going to have a share in the club. However, I didn't think it was going to be as big as it actually is. I thought when they say majority shareholder for KLD, I thought maybe 60, 70% of the club. But to just see 41% and how much say everyone else has got. I'm not happy to see that, Roy Keane, for example, when he's thinking of coming back and he sees them two clowns in charge of the club, he's thinking, I'm not having any of that. So I'm not happy. I'm not happy to see that. I think, as you say, that the way you described Methven, I completely agree with that. Donald as well. Listen, whatever fans say about them, look, I know Donald came in the club first season. He wanted the best for the club, blah, blah, blah. I appreciate that, wanted to have pints with the fans, etc. However, it's all well and good being a nice person, trying to make friends. But at the end of the day, if you're not suited to owning a football club, you've got to do the right thing. If you really do care about that football club, if Donald and Methven really care about this football club, then they will sell their shares and they will go, right? Because as soon as they're here, the longer they're here, the longer the fans are not going to be happy. So, the fans are absolutely fuming today. So it's not good news. And, Stuart Donald made this big thing of, we want to listen to the fans in this football club. Listen, if him and Methven combined are actually owning the majority of this football club still, they're still not listening to these fans. So I think they should, I don't know, they should be shown where the door is. And the fact that they haven't is quite worrying, to be honest.
It is.
If our form continues, then being in this league for a 5th consecutive year is unacceptable, and to think that we could get people in this club to get this club out the club, to get this club out the league, but they don't want to come because of these two clowns in charge, then we're going to be stuck here forever. So,
I mean, I was just going to read another thing out, Matthew, just quickly. Thanks for coming on there, mate, and much appreciate. Like, 'cause I try, anybody will come. I'm just going to read out quickly. Have you got time? Just while I read out. Obviously, when Kirill Louis Dreyfus first come in, he did a little letter. I'm just going to read that letter out. I'm going to jump a bit anyway. First and foremost, I hope that you and your loved ones are safe and well during the expansionally challenging time for us all. It is fair to say that the takeover process took longer than we all anticipated, but I am incredibly grateful for the patience you have shown, and I have been overwhelmed by the support I have received. As a new chapter in the Sunday FC's history begins, I begin to write you personally ahead of the journey together. I'm sure you have many questions about what the future holds, but for now, I just want to say thank you. Throughout the past few years, you have placed your faith in the club during a time when it needed it most. I'm sure that there's been occasions when it felt like the club turned its back on you, but your passion never faltered. Throughout the good times and bad, you have been the one constant that the football club can always rely on. This is the bit you need to listen to. That support should never and will never be taken for granted. It is important I am honest with you from the start. Yeah? So he says, that's what he says. It's important that I'm honest with you from the start. We have a long road ahead as we weather this pandemic, rebuild and recover. We will suffer setbacks and sometimes things will not follow our way, but throughout this project, we will work with you, and together, I truly believe that we can bring success and sustainability to the club. I look forward to welcoming you back to the Stadium of Light. And he just goes on. But anyway, he's with that statement, Matthew, at the start, and he said he wanted to be honest. But has he been honest? Has he been truthful?
Thing is, when you write letters like that, people aren't going to remember it for word. It's that it made me feel good letter. That made me feel really special and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't actually mean anything. It really, really doesn't. Listen, I don't know. Listen, I think he's got good intentions, KLD. However, the point that we are, being in League One, does he want to take all of it, though? Does he want to take the whole club? I don't know. It's really, really difficult. And when you put yourself in his shoes, when you first arrive at a club, how easy is it going to be to sit there and say, listen, I'm here now. I own 41%, but these two clowns are still in. They're still here. But just don't worry about them. We'll just work. It's not very easy to say that. You want to make them feel good. You want to get people on your side. And you know what? If it goes well, then no one even thinks about it. Only people have been thinking about this when we've gone on this really poor run. If we kept winning games, if we didn't lose 6-0 at Bolton, if we managed to beat Cheltenham, if we managed to beat Wimbledon, No one would care about who owns the club, really. They'd be more focused on what's happening on the field. But because what's happening on the field is so bad, you want to look for places to blame, and then you look at this, and it gets worse and worse and worse. But listen, Donald took a risk. He took the club over. We're lost in the playoff final. Listen, if we won that playoff final, then everyone would have just, it wouldn't have mattered. That massive gamble would have paid off, but unfortunately it hasn't. And the best thing he could have done was kind of just pack his bags and leave, to be honest. But he hasn't done that, and listen, it's very, very difficult. But it's, again, a lot of people say things not because they mean it. It's just because it's one of them. It just made me feel good letters, and I think for Sunderland fans, I think we like that a lot. We like it when the club engages with the fans. We like it when the message is personal to the fans, and that's why. That's why we kind of have a connection with. That's why a lot of fans, obviously, Sean, you weren't a Lee Johnson fan, but I think that's why a lot of fans connected with Lee Johnson because he interacted with the fans quite a lot. He connected with them, in his post-match celebrations. He would go over to the fans and show how much that win meant to him as much as it did the fans. This is how football works. This is how football fans work. This is how the romanticness in football works.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's just words. Whether it's the truth or not is another thing. But at this point in time, with the fourth season League One, I'm done reading letters and making me, things making me feel happy about this and that and the other, whatever. I just want the truth now, and I just want to get out this league. I just don't want anything else.
But, Matthew, looking back at it now, do you think maybe with the I mean, people say we haven't spent that much money. I mean, you look at KLD, he's a multi-billionaire. Do you think you're looking back at it now and you realise that the percentage of who's got what, you think, and they've all got to see it in the transfer deals and this, that, and the other. Do you think the penny pinching a little bit, maybe that's the reason why we haven't spent much, because Donald's still a part of it and Sartori's still a part of it? KLD's not, he's. Well, you think he's got 50 odd percent, and he hasn't. He's only got, like you say, 41. And altogether, really, you look at it. Stuart Donald, Methven, and Sartori, they've got 59% combined. So Madrox is still the other majority shareholders of the club. They're still calling the shots. They've just been clever in which way they've did it, just to take the diversion away from them. That's what I believe, anyway.
Well, Stuart Donald bought the club with kind of the club's own money in a way, with the parachute payments. Yeah. He didn't really have, he was maybe worth not even more than £7 million himself. Listen, he was a good little man. He did quite well with his business and whatever. And he thought, right, I'll take this on. Not really thinking about it, thinking, how am I going to do it? He managed to do it. And I think them two, they're still here just for a little payday, to be honest with you. I mean, not a little, it'd be a massive payday for them. I think they're just still clinging on to it, and that's why they're still here. I can't see if we were, if we got promoted the first season and maybe we got promoted again, or at this point maybe doing really well in the championship, sort of staying right at the top of the championship. Could I still see them here? Probably not. No, because they would have got their money. However much money we get for going up could have been a lot to them, and they could have sold that off, and then someone would have come in and saw more potential. But yeah, I just want to reply to a comment. Obviously, Steve Flanders saying he disagrees. No, I didn't mean the fans don't care at all. Who cares? Who cares? Who owns the club? What I mean is that when we're going on a bad streak of losing, it keeps bringing it up and bringing it up again. And it's not really something a lot of people focus on. More focused on the football on the pitch. But obviously, when we're going on this bad run, you look for places to blame. And obviously, if we're going on a good run or a bad run, this is still completely unacceptable, because obviously we were told that that these two were not completely gone, but zero control. But to see, it wouldn't bother me, that it wouldn't bother me to see if they just had 5%, or if Methven had maybe like at 5% or like that. That's how I thought it was. But to see how much of the club they still have, That's why I'm absolutely blown away. Absolutely blown away. I've got to go in a minute.
Yeah, that's fine. Matthew, it's great that you've come on. Because obviously you've got a great, you speak brilliant. So I'm thankful that you've come on. I think Thomas is going to come on, but I'll probably stop on for a couple hours, just try and get a couple of people on and let them what they think. But yeah, if you've got to shoot, Matthew, thanks anyway for taking the time out, Paul. Enjoy your pizza.
Yeah, I will do. I'll calm myself down. Right, see everyone.
Right, peace out. Stay safe, Matthew. That was the Matthew Leech. So look, I'm going to get a couple of people in. I'm going to get Thomas in. Thomas, if you're watching, I need to share this link. 2 secs. Right, 2 secs. I need to. I'm going to read the comments out because there's plenty of people in here, and I should be reading the comments out anyway. And I've just been off track there a little bit, but I want to go back to the beginning as I was reading them out. Nigel Dunn was in there. Obviously, Joanne Puncheon, Myslam World, Colin Roberts, Hyshon, he needs to buy up Madrox or sell up. Well, that's what I was going to come to. 2 seconds, Thomas. I'll get you the link in a minute. He sends a message. Acacia Common in there. Stephen Flounders. Alan Nixon. It's up to the fans to get them outside. It's our club. Madrox must let go. Do something now. Colin Major, the only thing is to kick him in the teeth where it hurts, boycotting the games. Well, there has been talk of that already on social media. There's been quite a lot of that talk in regards to the game the weekend. I think somebody suggested the 59th minute because they own 59% of the club to leave the ground on the 59th minute. Like you say, it's just suggestions, and I think it's really going to start ramping up. Yeah, I'm just trying to read more comments. CR 1987. Do they act individually? Sorry, I can't get my words out. I'm not feeling too ugly. Do they act individually or on behalf of Madrox? I know they pull the wool over people's eyes. A KLD is a smoke screen. That's it's quite a possibility. Remember, to subscribe to the channel, please. I'll just say this once. It's absolutely free. Doesn't cost a penny. Just hit that subscribe. Hit the like button as well. I'm sure Joanne said and a few other people have said it in the chat. So thanks for that. Steve, what's that? Multi-billionaire, but still only 23. Yeah, I'm just gonna get a couple of people in. If anybody wants to come on and give their opinion, just give us a shout in the group, and I'll send you an invite. It's about getting everybody's. William Stovey's put a tweet out. Yep, I have seen that. 2 secs. Yeah, I'm just trying to get copy. Right there and send that there. Just get a couple of people in. But yeah, it's just another kick in the teeth, isn't it? I mean, when you thought things weren't bad enough, and then it's just like it's one of them, and but we've just got to 2 seconds. I'm just copy and pasting this. 2 seconds, everybody. Just trying to get more people in. Thomas, I'll send it in the group so I can get more. Right. Yeah. Right, so I sent that. Yeah, but I think with the meeting tomorrow with the Red and White Army, they've been asking questions, and I think that you've got to give respect to the Athletic as well. The ones that got on the case. And like our local journalists, Phil Smith, James Hunter, and James Copley, they all reported it slightly after them guys. But yeah, Phil Smith, ahead of tomorrow's supporting collective meeting, KLD has announced the attendees that the shareholding structure: KLD 41, Stuart Donald 34, Juan Sartori 20, Charlie Mifflin 5. Yeah, that's not gonna go down good at all. The teams are doing very well. You could see a lack of investment. I think we have spent some money, but when you think that a young billionaire, he's got plenty of money, you wonder why we haven't went out and spent quite a lot of money, and it begs to differ now why the reason is. Right, anyway, I'll just go with a bit old for a baseball cap, so Del Boy. I know, I've got too many, mate. The 07 says Sean, how do you think we could get them to go? Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Why is somebody's just sent us a pin there? 2 seconds. Is he trying again there? I've sent him the link there. Jake Parton said nobody wants Charlie Methven part of our club. He needs to just walk. Well, you've got to bear in mind the things he said as well, Charlie Methven. This is just not a guy who, they come in. Let's just narrow it down. They come in. They agreed a 40 million price deal with Ellis Short, allegedly, 40 million price deal. So, that said, I think this lads was 2 parachute payments left, which they were in control of. I think they paid a upfront fee. I think it was 5 million. I might be wrong here, but Chris Weatherspoon, who's an accountant for the Wise Man Say, he's narrowed everything down. And if you check him out on Twitter, he's very clever and he's narrowed it down. I think he said something like they haven't put any more than 40 million for the club. Yeah, they haven't put anything more than, I think he said 6, 7, 8 million. I think that was at a max. I could be wrong. I could be wrong there. But so they paid 40 million for the club. Yeah, and we know now that they've also took 20 million out of the club. Yeah, they've written that off. Took 20 million out of the club. They say that'll financially be better for us going forward. Well, we could do with that money now, because I think it was. I think Chris Weatherspoon said we were. I think very, very close to go and bust. So end of the day, it's it's a disgrace, isn't it? But there's my old friend there, Wee Felicia and Bowen. Is that a Putter account or is it a? Let's have a look. See if that's a Putter one. Is it or not? I think it's just a made-up account, that, but never mind. Yeah, it's just it's another kick in the teeth for the supporters. Lied to, betrayed, stealing 20 million out the club, paying for the club with the parachute payments, not spending any money, not putting any money into the team. It's a joke. In case where have you gone? What's happened there? I'll try and read more comments, but I've invited Thomas. He's Thomas here. Thomas is coming in. Here we go. Thomas, you all right?
Hi, Sean, you all right?
Not too bad. Not too bad, pal. It's
good.
Yeah, it's. I'm just gonna obviously I'll get your views on the. Obviously, you've heard. I've read that. I've read the statement now by. There was the Athletic. A couple of journalists from the Athletic got onto the case, and it's not good, is it? I mean, I'll just go through the shares again, and you give us your thoughts. I know your views on it, but I think I'm not off the top of my head anyway. But KLD has got 41%. Stuart Donald has got 34%. Juan Sartori's got 20%. Charlie Methven's got 5%. So that's a little bit from what we were told at the start when he first come in. When he first come in, I think we assumed he had 50% at least, But they did have an NDA on. They couldn't disclose. But that's what got me. Why would they not disclose who's got what right from the start?
Then that's because they've got something to hide, haven't they?
Do you know what I mean?
Something to hide.
And do you think KLD's come out and admitted this to the Athletic, the 2 reporters? Do you think he's come out and admitted to it because he's got the meeting tomorrow with Red and White Army and the BLC and the supporters liaisons? He's going to be answering questions tomorrow. You think it's a case of he's been backed in a corner, if you were?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think he has been backed into a corner. I think there's been a lot of social media at the minute. A few published reports of people scrutinising why these accounts haven't been filled out. I know Nick Barnes was one of them who had a go at this. There's been the Sunderland Echo as well. It's been going around Twitter. It's been going around Facebook and stuff like that. And it's something that I've questioned for a while.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, Sean, but when you go to the match, there's little details that you notice when you go to some of the matches. I don't know whether you've been to, some of the Checker Trade and the FA Cup games, but there's little things that you notice, like the music still being the same, only having one stand open, the ticket office not being open. I've thought this for a while. There's little things still in the background.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's just. I mean, you don't want to believe it,
No,
but
you don't.
You don't want to believe it. And you think, no. You know, KLD obviously with the sacking of Lee Johnson, I thought, no, he's meaning business. But then this comes out today, and you think, just the supporters now. It's like supporters and the owners. It's at an all-time low. And I mean, you wonder why Roy Keane never come. Is it because he's saying knees? He was like, nah. But anyway, bringing Paul in. Paul,
Paul, you're right.
Been you for a while.
I don't know. I'm using my phone. Can you hear us okay?
Nice.
Yeah,
fine.
fine.
Yeah.
Excellent. Would you change the setting, mate? So it's like the proper. I don't know. It looks terrible.
2 seconds. Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Like
That's
better.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Better.
Sorry about the glasses as well. I know I'm looking much older, but I am getting older. But yeah, I'm absolutely livid. I think most fans have been following it along on Twitter, to be honest with you. And I mean, some people saying they already knew, they've seen it all coming, but I think majority of fans didn't really fully understand to what extent it was at.
Yeah.
I mean, the percentage margin, KLD's got 41%.
Yeah.
So it's got me wondering instantly, like, who's making these decisions regarding, like, say, Defoe coming in?
Exactly.
We don't know anything. What who's in control of anything, really, do we?
No.
So, like, for me, they need to just leave as soon as possible. I think there's going to be loads of shit happening with this over the fans over the coming weeks.
I think, unfortunately, though, if we do protest, if there's protest outside the ground, I don't think it's going to be enough to drive them away. I really don't.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there's talk of protest. Like, look, there is big talk of protest now because I think it's come to the conclusion that they've lied us from the start. They're lying our way through. They pinch money. They bought the club with the club's money.
Yeah.
We need to get these out. They're just,
we do.
Asset stripped our club since the start.
So, what do you think's the best way to achieve this? Because, like, as Thomas is saying, like, they're going to hang on not just till we get promoted to the Championship. They're going to want to stay until we get promoted to the Premiership. Because
do you know what the only thing I think is going to drive them out, Paul, is if nobody goes.
That's what I was trying to come to.
You've got to hit them hard. You've got to hit them hard in the pocket and not give them any money. Yeah.
There's no parachute payments now. So, if the season ticket sales, I mean, say we're in League One next season, right? And the season ticket sales is, they're going to rapidly drop through this. The only thing for me now, I think, is if KLD tomorrow, if he's asked the question, I'm sure he will be asked the question at the meeting with the Red and White Army and the BLC, the supporters liaison. He will be asked this question. Will you be looking at buying them 3 people out, because that's the only way he can sort of come out with this out of a good, because he's lied at the start. Really, he could have been truthful at the start with the shares. If he buys them 3 out and he calls all the shots and them are gone, that's the best way of getting out of the situations. But he's left himself a little bit wide open, hasn't he, Paul?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, see, the thing is as well, like, we're talking about boycotting the games and things like that. I mean, I know in the Premiership, I'm not 100%, somebody can correct us if I'm wrong here, but I'm sure somebody said the actual gate receipts aren't as important as what they used to be.
No, they're not. It's the TV money. That's it is TV money.
Even shirts, gate receipts, it doesn't really matter that much if you're in the Premiership. Obviously, you're losing still a hell of a lot of revenue, so no club's going to want to do it. But I think it's much more important in League One to have the gates. I mean, because like you just said, no parachute payment. I can't imagine just getting that much money from TV revenue, to be honest.
No.
So
I mean, we only get about 4 games a season. That's about it on Sky.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but so you get like a percentage of all teams get the percent, and then obviously if you're on Sky more, you probably get a little bit more. But it won't be much like, especially in League One, will it? I mean,
no.
If you think about it though, you say all the parachute money's gone, but all the parachute money had gone in the first place because Uncle Ellis took it all for himself.
Did they use that 20 million that everyone's talking about right now? Just because I'm still a little bit confused. Did they use that 20 million to actually physically buy the club with, or did they? Because I remember hearing that they were using it to sort of improve aspects of the club, like the academy and things like that. I mean, what actually happened?
No, they basically, because they cut all the costs down. Yeah, they did, that's one thing you can see where they come in and they brought all the costs down, and they made us a profitable running club. They brought all the debts down. I think the 20 million, they run at that well because they just acid stripped everything right down. They said to the supporters, they said they want to put that in into their Madrox account, and then we'll bring that back later when we need it.
I think when you get relegated from the Premier League, you get 100 million. I think for finishing bottom, and then the next 2 seasons it works out at £40 million each a season, I believe.
The parachute payments.
The parachute money, yeah.
Well, Ellis Shortler getting the first one, like you said, Thomas. He got the first payment, but the next 2, that was the deal of getting them next 2 payments. Yeah, but they paid with the club. I mean, people say, well, if they're in control of the club, they run the club, they can do whatever they want with the money. So they basically come in, they've brought all the costs down, and they've touched the club with, theoretically speaking, with the parachute payments. Yeah,
I mean, this started seasons ago. I remember, the season we lost the playoff final, and then, we had all our best players from the first season got released. Oviedo got released, Matthews, Canamore, players like that went out the door because we couldn't afford them.
Yeah.
And I remember people were all right at the time with these players going out. And I remember sitting there thinking, I don't want these players to go out. These are all best players. These are the best players in the league. Why should we downgrade and get rid of them? But it was all about that. Getting the wages down.
I mean, we all understand, you're running a business, like especially if you just bought a new one, you're going to look for as many ways as possible to cut down costs. And that was probably a good thing, you know what I mean? But you don't then use, it's different with a company because you're not sort of using the sort of staff salary to buy stuff, do you know what I mean? But like what they've done there, going off what Sean said, it's sort of a legal theft, really, in my opinion. Yeah. We've all went to the games, put the money into the club and stuff, because like we see, it's a lot of revenue, especially for League One. Yeah, and it's being used in that way. I mean, we should have much more say, in my opinion. But I think at the same time, KLD, there's talk of him, buying them out and stuff if they realise how upset the fans are. But is he in full control of all this billions now? Because when he bought it, he only had a small amount of money that he was allowed to use till he was a certain age, wasn't he? Is that the same?
I think it is, until he's 25, is it not?
25, yeah. That's when he's got full access to the money what his dad put away from him, yeah.
It's quite ironic because the people who are so desperate for the club to get promoted are the ones that are holding it back. It's strange.
When they first come in, I think I mentioned earlier on before you two came on air, but I think when they first come in, Ellis Short agreed to wipe the debt. Bear in mind that was 188 million. So he wiped that. So they didn't have any of that to deal with. He wiped that clean. Yeah, they had 2 parachute payments to come in, which I think was, as you said, I think 40 and then another 40 minutes. That's 80 million. They brought all the costs down.
Yep.
They paid for the club through that, but then they got a loan off the that American company.
Michael Dell, yeah.
They got a loan, a £10 million loan, and apparently Chris Weatherspoon of the Wiseman Seas, he's accountant, very clever lad. He said that we would have went bust another couple of months' time, 2 or 3 months' time. We would have went bust if it wasn't for that loan, and plus KLD coming in, as they basically banked on us getting promoted in that first season, didn't they?
I don't know whether I said this to you, Sean, the last match or a couple of matches ago. In the summer, the only player we spent money on, like actual transfer fee, was Dennis Certain.
Yeah.
Now, Dennis Certain must have cost between, $500,000 and 800,000 or something like that?
Yeah, it was.
Now, what people don't realise is they got that money back and made a profit because they sold that young 16-year-old lad, Francis Okanawuru, what he's called. They sold him to Everton for £1 million. So technically they spent nothing in the summer.
Yeah.
Well, all the rest were frees or loans.
Look at the youngsters, the young stars that was sold, Thomas, over the last year, too. For next to nothing as well.
Sam Greenwood.
Sam Greenwood, some promising.
And we don't even know even how much they sold these 41% shares to KLD for either, do we?
No,
that's money.
Yeah, they won't disclose any of. We'll never find that out. I mean, we've been lucky to find out about the percentage today, but that was good journalism by the Athletic, the 2 journalists who were.
I think that the Athletic are very reliable on the sources. They're very good journalist outlook.
And they got the Roy Keane thing straight away. As soon as they reported that about Roy Keane's, the talks were over. I was like, right, that's definitely, it's 100%.
I think in a sense they've cocked up though, because don't the season ticket renewals come out shortly? About April.
I'll tell you something now. It's this is what I'm seeing with this meeting tomorrow. It's massive, this meeting tomorrow. But I think KLD, he's got some huge tasks ahead and some huge questions to answer tomorrow. And if he doesn't answer them correctly, and if he's asked the question, have you got to, is your objective to basically have full control of the club by them, Leech is out, Donald and Meffin and thingy? Is that your future? But it's they won't probably sell until we get back to the Premier League. I think even the Championship they'll wait, and then once they get back to the Premier League, that's when they'll get their big period. That's what they're after. After their big period,
of course they are.
Yeah, and they're not going to get it in the division we're in at the moment.
Will you two still go if they're here next season?
Well, what, mate?
Will you still go next season if they're still here?
Well, I mean, I'll answer first because I don't get that many games, to be honest with you, anyway, living up here with work and kids and stuff like that. But I mean, whenever I do get the chance to go, I'll still go because I don't get to go that often. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a big thing for me to go. I love going, especially if we do start performing. But that's another thing as well. I mean, you think about. I feel quite sorry for Alex Neil coming into this now. Can you imagine what he must be thinking? Like, it's all there's such a bad feeling around the club, and we're performing so badly. He had 40 minutes with them on the training pitch, got a draw which was still played pathetic. Do you know what I mean? And then he's got to somehow try and lift the players. The players are going to notice all this going on.
Do you know what? I was just about to come to that part. A good point, that mate. It's like, Alex Neil's coming. I'm looking at it. I think it's a good appointment. I think we'll get behind him. But with all this coming out, and they've got a game on Saturday. MK Dons, who's playing really well. This is going to overshadow all of that, isn't it?
I think the way we're playing, I think MK Dons have wiped the floor with us. Honestly,
what do you think of this? What do you think of this when people say, like, if we were still winning, see if we were top now and we're still winning every game, would there be such an outroar? I mean, I know it would have still obviously shown there'd still be a lot of people angry about it, but if things were working for us and we looked like we're going to get promoted, would there be as many people kicking off about it, do you think?
Well, Matthew made the point. I think I know he's got a point. Like when things are not going very well, I think people can look at it now and think, the automatics is going to be unless we're in the last 12 of the last 14, it's not going to happen. And I think we need to just we're looking over our shoulders now and thinking, Jesus, you've got teams who's going to trying to get into them playoffs, and we need to be very careful. So I think seeing that, I think Matthew is right, because if we were top of the league and by 10 points, the points wouldn't come up. But you're still going to have that animosity between the fans and Donald because of what they've did. Meffin, of what he said. Charlie Meffin, he'd done an interview and he called the supporters toxic. He went, they're the problem.
Charlie Meffin's a cancer on this football club.
Yeah. I think what he said is the worst out of the lot, to be honest with you. And considering he owns the smallest amount, was it like 5%? At the very, very least, they should buy him out. Do you know what I mean? I mean, after what he said about the fans, he can just go. Do you know what I mean? What would it cost to get rid of him? They should just get rid of him, in my opinion.
It would cost him his 5% stake.
I've never said this before, and Thomas hates Ellis Short, but and I stuck up for him a little bit, but Ellis Short has got a lot of explaining to do. I mean, when you're selling a football club the size of ours, you've got to try and at least, I know he's paid the debt off 188 million, but you've got to at least try and sell them to valuable people who have got the best interests at the club's heart. I think he's just he hasn't even looked into it.
That's it.
Club, you know what I mean?
He just wants rid of it no matter what.
Somebody replied, I think it was your tweet I was reading, where they said he probably just got somebody else to deal with the sale. Do you know, like he did with everything else in the club. He's not a footballing person, like they're not really, but like he was even less really. He didn't.
It wouldn't surprise me if Ellis Short's behind all this.
It makes you wonder, but anyway, I'm just going to go up the live chat because try and keep people involved. All right. I don't know what's happening, but I think there's a few fake accounts kicking about on our live stream, Paul. I think it's just what I've been reading.
I think the chat was hacked the other week. I'm not sure when we did one of the streams because it wasn't up, I believe.
Yeah. Adam French said this is just as bad as Tom Curry, who used to own our club. Well, that's SCFC Francis, KLD won't answer if he wants to buy the others out. They're all rotten, including KLD. I know he hasn't really helped himself, like, to be fair. I don't know what happens now with KLD. I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? It's Sam Pants and the Don will be laughing their socks off at us, all the control, all the say, with none of the flack. They also will take the most of any money that's made. What a bunch of mugs we are. Gary Case is getting the Sky TV money, would explain why we did not call off the Wickham game now. Got a point. Somebody said the club is dead. It's just, I don't know.
Do you think it will affect the attendances massively? Do you think it's gonna?
It might by a couple of thousand.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I know there's a lot of people on social media kicking off, but when it boils down to it, I did sort of read something briefly before it disappeared. Our Collins saying about us being loyal fans, and you know that's always been the case. That's why we've got such big attendances anyway.
Yeah. I just think this is going to be for many people. I mean. It's gonna top them over the edge. I think they'll probably see it. I know supporters who've been there supporting the club for 50, 60 years, and even them are saying, I've had enough. Enough's enough.
I mean, the two people I go to the match with, they've both said they're not going to renew.
It's worrying. It's worrying, but this can all be solved if if for some reason KLD can buy them out.
Though, Sean, that these people who are here, even if we didn't go, I honestly think they wouldn't care if the club folded.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they wouldn't care.
They would to a degree because
they would, because their investment would be gone.
Yeah. I just think there's two things that would sort of really help the attendances as such. If we're still talking about that, like if they did go or somebody bought them out, and fine, yeah, we'd all be back there, but. I think even if they stayed, and if we just pushed on and got automatic promotion, I think people would still just forget about it. Like, not everybody, but there'd be a lot of people. I think we just sorted it out. We just crack on and just wait for them to get the payday. But that's what it's all about for us. It's about success with the team, and it's about getting promoted. Obviously, I know it's important who owns the club, especially after the things they've said.
Yeah.
But ultimately, for me, I still believe majority of fans, all they want is for us to get back to the Premiership. And if getting to the Championship's obviously that next step that we have to take. If we can achieve that this season with the new manager, I think a lot of people would just push it to the back of the mind and just crack on, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to see it. Just if you've just tuned in, obviously, thanks everyone who's tuned in. I will stay on a while. I'm just going to read out the shares. We're all very sceptical. There was a lot of people, reliable people on Twitter. Chris Weatherspoon of the Wild Man Seer. They were all reporting it, and Gareth Barker of the Wild Man Seer as well. He was saying there's something up, but I'm just reading out the percentage. KLD has 41%. Stuart Donald is 34%. Juan Sartori 20%, and Charlie Meffin 5%.
So 7% difference between KLD and Donald. Yeah.
But what you've got to bear in mind, Paul, is looking at obviously them three together, Donald, Sartori, and Meffin. They've got 59. That's the big big picture of it all, is that they've got 59%. Yeah. So people are saying that KLD's got the more. He hasn't. Madrox has still got the most.
I would love to know what Juan Sartori's put into this football club, apart from dancing in fountains.
They've diddled the system. That's what they've done, Paul.
That's exactly that. That's what Juan Sartori. He wasn't originally linked with them two. I mean, I thought he was coming in for if we got promoted. He had a bit more money to back us and things like that. So, I mean, that's another option. Like, he could just buy them out as well. He's got all this money. If it was just him and KLD, I think people would be a bit more acceptable of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's just when you see how much Donald still got, it's gonna get the supporters backs up, isn't it? It's gonna get the backs up. They've lied from the start. They've lied through the whole of the time. They tried to say the right things, but they've just lied, and then again today they're being found out again. Do you know what I mean?
Can I ask? Would you, like, if you go back in time, would you have preferred William Story to come in instead of KLD?
No.
Thomas. Well, do you know what, Thomas? When I interviewed him, obviously all that time ago, everything he said, to be fair, everything he said in the interview and when I was speaking to him prior and afterwards and this, it's everything what's come out of there, everything what's come out of there, he said it word for word. He got everything right. He said to me, and in an interview, it was a dilution of shares. Donald will still retain a high stake, which he has, and it's just a case of him coming in, KLD, just to take the onus off them. That's all it is. Just take the tension away from them. Do you know what I mean? That's all it's been.
See, I know a lot. Go on, mate. Go on.
No, go on, Paul. You go first.
I know a lot of fans kind of stand him. A lot of fans say he's got no money. A lot of fans say he ruined it for the Haas team in Formula One. Now, I'm a massive Formula One fan. There's not much I don't know about Formula One, and that's one of the most sort of corruptish sports at times. I wouldn't believe everything you hear when it comes to the Formula One side of it. I'd put it that way. People saying he's got no money. How they know that, I have no idea, because I certainly don't know what his bank balance is. You know what I mean? There's nothing. I've never seen any hard-based fact. But I think it's he's people can tell he's mental. He's just a nutter. But in one sense, I'm thinking, he talks the talk like they all do. He could be passionate. He could be genuine. He could have more money than people realize, and he could have maybe done a better job. Nobody's going to know. I know I might get slated just even uttering them words, but I think, to be fair, I think he might have done a good enough job. But like I say, we'll never really know now.
See, William's story, whether you believe him or not, people say he's this, he's that, he's full of crap. He wanted to buy because remember when Donald, when he first come out, he says, right, when he found out, when everybody knew he was lying, he's lying. He's come out and he says, look, if somebody gives me the £40 million, they can have the club, as long as they pass the tests, the AFL tests and this, that, and the other. As long as they pass them, give us 40 million, they can have the club. He lied about that as well, because if it's true, William Story says he bid even more than what the offer was. I think it was just over 40 million. But William Story apparently wanted a full buyout of the club, because I did ask him, I says, well, if he'd said that you could have, like, I don't know, say 70 to 80%, and say Donald would just keep 20, would you obviously work with that? And he said, well, if it meant getting me foot in the door, then I would. But it's all
it's going to be interesting, Sean, to see if Dreyfus is still in the director's box at the match.
Well,
can it be? Can't be.
Well, he's in the meeting tomorrow with the supporters liaisons and the Red and White Army. So
I remember these meetings that they've given excuses to call these meetings off before, though, haven't they?
No, I don't think they're going to. I think they called off at the short notice now. I don't think they will. I think it's going to.
If I was them fan groups going to these meetings, I would say to Dreyfus, I want the other three there as well, then, or at least the other two to explain themselves.
Or to the thing tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm saying that I asked to go before when it was the last meeting. I asked I was speaking to the Red and White Army. I said, "Is there any chance I can go and represent our channel?" And basically, not allowed.
How do you get to go then? I mean, do you have to be like a certain size or like?
No, not a certain size. It's just that. Good question. Actually, I think it's just a case of he just wants one of them in there. And like you see, the BLC, I think they've got to be there.
A representative from each party.
Yeah, but like the report's not there. The Wise Men Seer is not there. Fans React will not be there. Fan TV will not be there. So it's just a case of them two fan groups, and that's it. But I would love to have went to represent, our channel fans React. But like you see, I asked before, and it was just a case of because I wouldn't. I would hit them with questions and
Do you think
they remember the name of that? What was the name of the bloke who, before Dreyfus came in, Donald was going to sell him the club, and then he just for some reason never took over. I think he was a Scottish bloke.
Campbell. No, it was Mark.
That was him.
Campbell.
Yes, Mark Campbell.
Well, say there was. I don't know if Donald's tried to wiggle his way out of that as well. He said that he wasn't trying to sell the club. When he was trying to sell the club, he was trying to sell the full club, but he wanted a bigger. He wanted a profit. Do you know what I mean? But the guy who was going to sell it to, I don't think he was.
he wasn't credible.
No, definitely not at all. So it would have been going from one extreme to another. But I mean, William Story, people say this and that and the other, but people didn't see the people the people he had behind him. His backers, the multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
And a couple of other guys, one a son supporter, businessman, local guy. So he had about 3, people to come in with him. So it's all if buts and maybes, but
we don't know how this is going to pan out, because, like I said earlier, it could have a massive impact on not just like obviously the fans going, and it could affect the team. We might end up in this league for years to come, and they're just going to hang around because they see a potential of us going back up. At some point, they're either going to have to accept that we're not going to get relegated. We're not going to get promoted, or they're going to have to sell it for what it's worth now.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think unfortunately under this lot, I think they've got more chance of the club getting relegated than promoted.
Yeah, it's Colin Roberts is coming in. I think we'll get Colin in.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, Colin.
You all right?
Hello, lads. All right.
Yeah, good.
I'm using my phone and all.
Yeah, no worries.
Just bear with us because I'm not used to holding it in my hand and talking at the same time.
When I first heard about all this coming out on Twitter today, I thought, Colin's going to be absolutely livid with this. What's your thoughts on everything that's been happening today then?
Exactly the same as everybody else. Yeah. Raging initially. Now I'm just disappointed, and just for all the fans, like you say, we superb fans, home and away, nearly 40,000 there the other week, and all they've done is lie to us, deceive us. We deserve better. We're not like them up the road, think that we've got this divine right to be fantastic. We just want to be run properly and have a chance. That's all. Just to compete and to be able to get up through the leagues. That's all we want. We're not greedy, but we certainly don't expect the piss took out of us. Excuse me, language.
Yeah, exactly, Colin. It's, I mean, it's the way it's come out today. He's been backed into a corner, I think, KLD, and he's had to sort of admit about the shares. You've seen the shares, haven't you? So
yeah. It's that just says it all, doesn't it? I've been watching from the beginning when you read out, his letter to the season ticket holders.
Yeah.
And when Matthew was on, and it's just all rubbish. It's all absolute garbage coming out of his mouth.
Where does he go now, Colin? When it's KLD, what can he do now to turn this around?
Like I said in the chat, I honestly think he's now got 2 options. If he's got to save any credibility for himself, KLD, then he has to buy them out. And we have to see that he has full control of the football club, and then
he's not going to pay. He's not going to pay the price that they want, because he basically have to give them, then as if we're going into the Premiership or something. You know what I mean?
Then if that's the case, he's as culpable as them, and he needs, and then he's in the same boat as them. They'll want him out as much as they want. They'll want him out as much as they want. The Madrox 3 out, so he's in a difficult situation now. But again, it's self-inflicted. It's this could have been avoided. This all could have been avoided, but it's the deceit. It's the expecting the fans to back us and then just throwing it all in our face, and we just look like a bunch of mugs. A lot of it.
Do you think that's what the 4th thing was as well? I don't know if you've already mentioned this, but do you think that was just getting him was just to try and keep the fans happy for a little while?
No, it's looking more and more like a publicity stunt, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. And as you said before, I think we all thought it. We now know clearly, don't we, why Roy Keane didn't come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You say that again.
It's just there. It's just there. You can see it clear as day now. And I mean, I remember seeing an interview not that long ago with KLD where he said, I can't disclose the shareholdings because of a non-disclosure agreement. And then even though we all thought, right, okay, but it was the way he said it. It was as though he had something to hide, and that was when the alarm bells really started ringing. The questions started to be asked once our form dipped.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, he's been backed into a corner now, and to the point where they've had to come out.
Matthew.
Sorry, it's just Matthew Lee. He's taking the mick out of us wearing glasses now, and Joanne Punch is joining in.
Paul,
she's
what's
saying,
the
look at this
chances?
man.
What's the chance? What's the chances, right, of us two having to wear glasses at the same time?
I know, you're 6 years
I've got
older than us,
some
at least.
somewhere,
You
I should
managed to
put
get
them
a bit more out of it. Good.
I know. At least I can see you properly now, anyway.
Yeah.
What's he
You have to take
called?
them off
I
at the
think he wants to
match,
come on. Call the Black Cats thingy, Paul.
Yeah. If you want to get him on, that's fine. I do have to shoot off. I just wanted to pop in anyway, just to give my sort of opinion. Go on, mate.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like you see. Call. Moss wants to come on, so I'll send you a link through Twitter. All right. Give us 2 seconds. I'll send you the link. If anybody wants to come on, if you're watching, if you want to come on and talk about it, talk about your feelings, come on, but try and be respectful, and just be sensible. I know we're all hurting at the minute, but we've got to try and stick together through these crap times, But if you want to come on and voice your opinion, just send a message in the group or whatever.
Yeah, we've got quite a few people watching as well. So if you are sort of enjoying the way we talk about this, then give the video a like. That would be helpful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do that as well. But yeah, we're all sort of. I think most of us I haven't heard anybody. Mind you, seeing that somebody on Twitter did say that we shouldn't be calling for them to be out. Like they do still have some people like on their side.
I'd love to hear their reason behind why.
So would I.
Yeah, if there's anybody in the chat that thinks we're all over exaggerating, that doesn't make any difference and whatnot, leave a comment, or if you want to come on, Sean can, like I say, send you.
I mean, this is a critical point for the club, I think, because their next move and their next, what they come out and say next, whether we all believe what comes out of the mouth now, anyway, to be honest, but their next decision on how the club's going to be run going forward is pivotal on how we're going to be as fans, because a lot of fans will if they say, oh no, it's going to stay the way it is, status quo, there'll be thousands there'll be thousands who won't renew, as you were saying. It's a daft time. Renewals coming up in April?
I said this.
So it's critical that they make the right answers here, because if they don't, they're going to lose a lot of fans, I think.
But how do you think we can get them out, Colin?
See, that's the thing. You know, I honestly think that they know how loyal we are, and
they use our loyalty.
They're going to call our bluff, because basically we will support the team. We will. You'll lose. I heard you say before, we might lose a couple of thousand on the gate, quite possibly, but I do think we'll still get healthy attendances and healthy followings away from home, and they know this.
Yeah,
because historically we've always done it.
That's the most disgusting thing about the whole thing, that they use our loyalty to their advantage.
Yeah, because as you say, if everybody just went, right, we're not gone. I mean, to be honest with you, that's catastrophic. Not just for them, but for the actual club itself. We could literally just die as a club if that happens.
I'm just going to bring Colin, just to calls.
Hi guys.
Evening. All right.
Hi, not so bad. How are you, Paul?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Good.
What's going on with the club? What's going on?
What do you think, Carl, about the latest revelations?
Jesus. I thought we got rid of Donald Duck. I thought we got rid of him for good with KLD. What? What's going on? What? I mean, it's just like when you interviewed William Story, Sean. He was so interested, buying the club 100%. Get rid of Metvern, Donald, take full control. Look what's happened. Seriously, we need Story in.
Yeah, well, it's I think there's always hope there. When KLD first come in, I read the letter earlier on. You're optimistic because he's come from a rich background of football as well. His dad was the owner of Marseille, and there's a lot of money within the family. You're thinking, this is a new chapter for Sunderland Football Club. This is a new beginning. We've had to put up with them leeches for the last 2 seasons. You just want hope, as Colin was saying. That's all we want, hope as Sunderland fans. And then, people can, like clever lads like Chris Weatherspoon from the Wise Man say he's an accountant. He's looked into the the figures and the financial side of it, and he was asking the questions, and I think he said that they only put something like, I think it was 68 million, and that's including the purchase of the club as well, which is 40 million out of their own money. They've put in about 68 million max.
That's all Donald
out of the club. They pay for the club for the parachute payments, which we've talked about. These guys, they should not be allowed, anywhere near a football club, any football club at all. It's an absolute joke.
I think that begs the question, Sean, is something that I don't think we've covered on so far tonight, is that should the EFL checks be more strict on who should be able to buy a football club?
I was just about to say that.
There should be. And they shouldn't be allowed to use the club's money to buy it as the actual club as well. That should go back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if that's a good point. So I can come to, if the club was the sale was 40 million, from Madrox to Ellis Short, the sale 40 million, right? So therefore, when they're doing the AFL checks, they should say how much money Stuart Donald has got in his, in his accounts, and then unless the view Sartori as a front man for the bid, I don't know, but he should have at least 200 million, something like that. So then, they've got to have money where if things is going bad and things like that. But how he's been allowed, Stuart Donald, I still can't get my head around that.
It's funny you should say that, Sean, because there's a similar thing that's gone on. I know we're nowhere near the Premier League, but it's similar things gone on at Burnley, where American owners have gone in and they've bought the football club with the with the TV money from the Premier League. And it's just, how do these people get away with just being charlatans to buy these proud football clubs that have been around for hundreds of years and just go in for the sole purpose of to take money out, to ruin the football club? They don't care about us. They don't care about the people who stay and who support the team throughout the good times and the bad. All they care about is money.
Well,
and they'll even liquidate these clubs for that.
What did Stuart Donald say? If somebody gives them the 40 million for the club and they pass the AFL checks, the tests, the checks, if they give them the money, he said he'd let them have the club. So that was all another lie.
It's just a web of lies.
Lies. He never had any intention of doing a full sale to anybody. All he wanted to do was sell a certain shares, and then they obviously take over a little bit, take the heat off him. Like you say, and him retaining the shares, because he wants to, as I've kept on saying, he wants to keep his shares so we get the Championship, then the Premier League, then he'll cash in, get his big payday, and then bye. Thank you, Sunderland fans. I've took the piss out of you for the last 3-4 years, and that's it basically.
Well, you remember when Charlie Mithven said that statement, where he made that statement behind everybody's back when he says, "Oh, these Northerners, they know nothing about business," and all this, slagging us off. Well, that's funny. We know nothing about business, but this man's part of a business that's failing, that's getting worse and worse, that hasn't been successful. It's just delusional.
Yeah. Right, sorry, lads, I'm going to have to cut in. I'm going to have to go. I've got a few things I've got to do, but I just want to pop in. I hope you all have a good night, and I hope we find a resolution to this somehow, whether it's with the fans or whether KLD has something up the sleeve that he can use. But
keep the faith.
You have a good one. I'll catch you later.
Right,
take care, bro.
Paul.
I was just about to say, I think there's Jake Parkinson wanting to come on, I think. If you want to come on, are you on Twitter, Jake? Just let us know in the comments, and I can send you the link through Twitter.
One thing I want to point out, when you talk about the EFL checks, you look at Portsmouth, Bury, Wigan,
Macclesfield.
All went through the so-called EFL checks, and the EFL failed them. And look what happened to them. Portsmouth, there's another one. Portsmouth.
Oldham, bottom of the Football League.
Oldham as well. The EFL is failing big clubs and running them out of business, just like Bury.
Yeah.
Well,
that needs to stop. Sunderland needs better rules.
I think the biggest example of that is what's going on at Derby County as well.
Right, toast Jake. Parkinson, send us a DM on Twitter, and then I'll send you the link, mate, and you can come on and you can give us your views there, please. But like as Carl's just said there, there should be better tests. I mean, look at the Bury situation. Bolton were close to going under, weren't they?
Huddersfield went under.
Halifax Town went under. Rushden Diamonds went under.
What happened to York and Darlington as well?
Yeah. Exactly. It's just it shouldn't be happening. It should not be happening. 2 seconds. I'm just going to send this
the
guy.
EFL are letting them, not just with that though, but obviously, you know, we've been in this league for that many years now. We know how bad the officiating is as well. Referees. That's another thing they need to clear their act up with as well, because the refereeing standard, not just in this league, the league below and the league above, is absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
officials in this division. I mean, I remember when I used to work in Nissan, and I was one of the Newcastle fans, but they were in the championship, and they said, "Wait till you see the officials in the championship." I was thinking, Jesus, wait till you see the officials in League One. They're so mediocre. It's unbelievable. It's
the worst of mediocre.
I think every game at home, it's about the referee, isn't it?
Cheers. Yeah. It's the most sung song, isn't it? In the Roker end, you're not fit to referee. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But like, see, people in the live chats, just give us your comments. I'll try and read them out. I'm just trying to get as many people involved as I can.
I mean, you look at what's happened the last couple of weeks. You know, we've been beaten 6-0. We've been beaten off bottom of the league. We've got beat off a team that hasn't won in 12 games. The manager's been sacked. We didn't get Roy Keane. This has come out. This just gets worse and worse and worse and worse.
Do you think now? Sorry, Colin.
No, go on, mate. Sorry, go on.
Do you think now, obviously, with I put a tweet out earlier on about the Roy Keane thing? Do you think that was definitely the reasoning behind them not?
Yes, I do.
100%. Because he had dealings with Methan and Donald previously, didn't he? And as soon as money was mentioned, they were away like a shot. They didn't want to know, and he just couldn't get a clear answer out of them. Yeah. And he just knew that they were. He knows. He doesn't suffer fools, Roy Keane, does he?
Yeah. Roy Keane's not stupid.
He knows their chances. He knows they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was giving the board an opportunity to try and sort this out for him to come in, because he desperately wanted to come back. It was the perfect opportunity for him to come back as a club. Fans wanted him. Big club. It was perfect for him. But he knew that he couldn't work under that.
Yeah, I don't know about you two, but I think Roy's definitely seen through the two at the top. But I think he's also seen through Christian Speakman as well. I think Speakman's useless, mate.
I mean, here's the thing. Don't forget, Roy Keane learned from two of the greatest managers of all time, in Brian Clough and Sir Alex Ferguson. So if there was any bullcrap, Keane would have saw it a mile away, big time.
Yep, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, it's it's a right kick in the teeth. I mean, you know, the league position, I think, when I've come to the fact that it's the top two is going to take something special now, isn't it? I mean, the last 14 games, there's 42 points to play for, but can we see us finishing in the top two with Wigan and Rotherham having that many games in hand? It's probably going to be more a case of looking over our shoulder and the teams in 7th and 8th trying to push into that into the playoffs. That's what's going to
be. I think we've got more just as much worry about actually staying in the playoffs than trying to get into the top two.
Farley, an audio, I think that's how you pronounce it, is it time for protests? I've seen many people say that on Twitter about the protests this week, and I think there's going to be a few protests. What's your feelings on the protests, Carl? What do you think about that?
I mean, every protest, I get the point of it, but at the same time, we want to support our club. We want to push our boys to get up, to get out of this rotten division. And just going back to what Thomas said about what's been happening a few weeks, that away game, when we lost 2-1, why the EFL put a Newcastle fan as the referee when he did it against Charlton?
Yeah.
The EFL's against us. We need to get out of the EFL.
You say that though, but you say, we've got to get behind the team, we've got to support them on, right? But we did that against Doncaster. We had 39,000 fans, and the team showed up, and they showed nothing. They showed no desire. They showed no commitment. They showed nothing in that game.
But I'll go back to what Acacia said to Sean on the after-game video, that the caretaker managers, the under-23s, didn't even have a Scooby-Doo what they were doing. So it's not the boys. It was the caretaker managers. If we had a manager come in when they got rid of Johnson, things would have been different against Doncaster. But we had Scooby-Doo caretaker managers, and I agree with Acacia. They should have been in.
Yeah.
Obviously, look at the way we've got to look at it is we've got a game coming up this weekend as well. I feel sorry for Alex Neil because I think his first game in charge at the Stadium of Light, it's going to be overshadowed by all of this, all this news coming out. It's just,
Sean, you look at our defence at the minute, can it defend for shit? And MK Dons have got some really good forward-thinking players. They've got Mo Issa, they've got the lad Troy Parrott, they've got pace up front, they've got good players. And what our defence is like, they'll just cut it open like a knife through butter.
And that's going to be a tough game. Let's be honest.
It's going to be a very tough game. There's nothing to say that we can't win it, though. We're beating them away from home.
Yeah.
It depends which Sunderland turn up because
it does.
We've got the capability of battering a team, but we've also got the capability of being battered.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, what 1 win in 8 is nowhere near good enough for a football club this size.
No.
Nowhere near good enough.
It's not. No, it's,
I'll go back to what you said about the 2 caretaker managers. I mean, we've got one. We've got Mike Dodds, who's done nothing in the game, done nothing in football, who doesn't deserve to be on the touchline of a pitch, never mind, undertaking the under-23s. That's another thing that they haven't done. They still haven't replaced Elliot Dickman, who left for Newcastle months ago. This is this Mike Dodds and Michael Proctor, their caretaker managers of the 23s. Elliot Dickman left about 3 or 4 months ago. They still haven't replaced them.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Like you see, it's that meeting's going to be interesting tomorrow to see the leagues. I wish it would. I wish I could get in there, but I tried last time at the meeting, but blank.
They should make it live, shouldn't they, on YouTube for us all to watch it?
That would be.
Leave some comments below. There'll be a few.
Open the live chat.
Yeah, I would have watched that if Sean managed to get in there for fans react. I'll definitely be watching that one because Sean will hit the hard-hitting questions big time.
Yeah, that's what it needs.
Sean,
it needs whoever goes in tomorrow.
If you did that, it might get you trending on #1 on Twitter.
Just break in, Sean. Sean, just break in.
There's absolutely no way that, like you see, I asked point blank in the Red and White Army. I was talking them through Twitter, and I said, "Is there any chance I can go represent?" Obviously, fans react to our channel, and he just said that the only people who's allowed is the Red and White Army and the BLC, the supporters liaison. So
they're probably in league with them as well. They'll probably clap them all and all that.
But they need to be giving them some really hard-hitting questions and demanding some answers, not skirting around them and letting them get it worm out with these diplomatic politician-style answers. We need some clarity with what's going on behind the scenes and what the hell is going on, what the plan is going forward. Do you know what I mean? Is he going to buy them out eventually? What is the plan going forward? I mean, I wasn't a big fan of, and I touched on this before, of William Story, but I'll tell you what, he was proved bang on with what he said.
Yeah.
About the way it wasn't a buyout, it wasn't a takeover, it was just a shuffle around of shares, and he said, and everybody sort of says, "You're an idiot," but he was right.
We should have seen this coming from the start with Donald, because I don't know what you guys think of what I'm about to say, but can you remember when he first come in and we said, "Oh, we've got all the pink seats and all the seats need changing and all that," and we've got all the seats and we changed all the seats and all the fans come in to change all the seats and that. If you think about it, really, Stuart Donald got away with all the fans changing the seats for nothing.
It was all a smoke screen, wasn't it? That was to get them all on side, to make them think he was doing something good for the fans. That's all it was.
Of course it was. But it was also, he got away with changing them seats for nothing, so he didn't have to spend any money.
Yeah, 100%.
I've just want to quickly see Jake, the young lad. He wanted to come on. I didn't realise. I forgot to say that you've got to be of a certain age. He's only 14, so unfortunately, he won't be allowed to come on. So apologies to Jake for that. But I should have asked that question. You've got to be. I think I'm sure it's 16 plus, haven't you, to do this kind of thing. So sorry about that, Jake. But
16 plus on StreamYard.
Yeah. So sorry about that.
out the gear often.
It's the same thing with the pitch as well.
Like I see, I was just trying to. It was a couple of comments I forgot to read out there. There's been loads of good comments, but it's just I'll just try and go at them.
Try and get some in, Sean.
SCFC starters. These Cowboys need run out of town.
Agree.
Well, Farley of an audio. I think that's what how you pronounce it. Well, after the Newcastle takeover, I don't have any faith in the governing bodies to make ethical decisions anymore. Right. Been supported for 40 years, and I've come to the conclusion that the only way to get people like these out is to stop going. Money is all that matters to them. That's a good point. That SCFC starts that's a really good point.
I mean, you guys are older than me. You can probably remember when Bob Murray. You remember when Bob Murray was in charge. And towards the end,
I'm only 35.
Towards the end of Bob Murray's tenure at Sunderland, before obviously Drummondville and Quinn came in, there was a lot of hate aimed towards Bob Murray about, obviously we'd had the 15-point season under McCarthy, we'd got relegated the club like it looked like it was a rudderless ship, and the fans protested outside the ground to get him out, and he was a Sunderland fan. He actually cared about the club.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here right now accepting these clowns taking the mick out of us.
Right.
Sean, just let you know, it's still 0-0 Wigan v Crew. Still 0-0.
We need Crew to score a goal.
I'm not even thinking about any other teams. I just think.
I can't see us catching out of the other top two. So
it's not about what they do; it's about what we do.
Exactly.
And
at the minute, we're imploding.
I know.
I mean, you got the same old excuses as well. I don't know whether any of us watched Pritchard's interview after the game the other day against Wimbledon, and he's all going, we'll have to move on to the next game. We'll see the next game. It's just a bad day at the office, and it's just like the same excuses we rolled out in the next game, but we don't win that one.
Yeah,
it's like it's time for these excuses. And when people go, it's typical Sunderland. Sunderland always do this. This culture at the club needs to stop. It's typical Sunderland. Sunderland always get bad luck. We always lose playoffs. Blah blah blah. It needs the whole attitude across the whole board needs to change.
Yeah,
starting from the very top.
Nothing will change until that at the top changes, and this is why we're still stuck where we are.
Yeah.
If you've just tuned in, obviously we've been going live for just over an hour. But I was obviously like to say there was. I'll just read it out because I think we all know by now. Reliable journalists from the Athletic, Philip Buckingham and Michael Walker. Sunderland chairman Kirill Louis Dreyfus has admitted he owns just a 41% stake in the League One club. Louis Dreyfus, who became the AFL's youngest chairman, age 23, when first arriving in English football 12 months ago, has only stated he has a controlling stake in Sunderland. So that's the breaking news, and obviously the shares, which I'll read. I'll read out the shares. I think I've read it out a few times, but I'll just do it again. I think it's engraved in my head now when I find it.
I know you said that.
KLD has 41%, Stuart Donald 34%, Juan Sartori 20%, and Charlie Murphy has 5%. So, in a nutshell, Stuart Donald, Juan Sartori, and Charlie Murphy have 59% of the football club. So that's basically that's what you got to look at. They have 59%. Yeah.
There's got to be a reason he's
very clever. It's very clever the which way they've did it, isn't it? It's very clever.
There's got to be a reason though, because he's not contractually. He didn't have to come out and say this. There's got to be a maybe I don't know whether you guys have thought of this, but if Dreyfus is different to the other three, and he's basically said, screw this, people need to know the truth. Do you know what I mean? That could be a possibility.
I think the like I was saying earlier on, there's a lot of the fan groups have the piled the pressure on. Wiseman say, you've got to give them a lot of credit because they've been saying this for quite some time. As I forget the guy's name, I think it's Gareth Barker. He's said on Twitter quite a lot from the Wiseman say. Chris Weatherspoon's always been calling them out. These guys, you've got to give them massive credit for
Wasn't Chris Weatherspoon shot down by the club for doing that as well?
He was. Well, in the last meetings, I think even Stuart Donald lost his temper and says,
he wasn't allowed to go to any further ones, was he?
Yeah, he says, tell Chris Weatherspoon to keep his trap shot or something like that.
Yeah.
And he snapped because he knew he mumbled him. Found him out, mumbled him. So he was biting. But these are the type of guys they love our football club and they don't want anybody taking the piss.
You know what, right? Fair play to them.
Do you know what I mean? So, you've got to give them credit. But
there could have even been a fear that Roy Keane said something out of turn. Because he'll have clearly known, he'll have wanted to know the ins and outs of who was running the football club of what.
Of course.
And then, the fear of if he actually spills something coming from him, the reason I didn't take over, blah, 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 it'd have been even worse backlash. They might have even needed to make a statement for fear of it coming out a different way from somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Sean when he says about feeling sorry for Alex Neil coming in and, not having the immediate backing, not being the first choice of all the ownership group, not being the first choice with the fans, and he's coming into this mess, this basket case of a club. And unfortunately, because of the regime we've got, I don't think Alex Neil will see out this year.
I think he'll stay out the season.
I think he'll stay out of the season, but I think it's just rinse and repeat where we'll go in the playoffs, we'll get beat off somebody, and then we'll go, oh, these aren't his players, we'll bring his own players in. We'll bring his players in, he's struggling by about November, December, and then they push the panic button and get rid.
Mm-hmm. There's a good comment from
repeat.
David Buick, as I said, in hindsight, is a wonderful thing. Changing the seats for free. Let's break the League One attendance record. Meffin and Donald having pints with the fans. If it was all a PR stunt and thousands fell for it. Do you know what? Honestly, I'm not just joking. When them first come in, I knew there was. Straight away, I went, sorry, there's something.
Something up.
Aye, straight away.
I mean, can you guys remember that story about Oxford away or something? And Stuart Donald come out and said that the Sunderland fans had gone up with his daughter at the bus station and walked her home and confronted her.
Well, the bus stop or something, yeah.
Like, I don't believe that for 1 second that Sunderland fans would do that.
Yeah. I think getting back to what Sean said there, that he knew pretty much fairly quickly there was something off here. I think there was too many fans, and I'll admit I was one of them, that just got caught up in the wave of Ellis Short's gone. It's a new beginning, a new dawn, and just got caught up with all their slather. Do you know what I mean? And I'll admit I did.
That's understandable. Yeah, that's understandable.
That's understandable.
Do you know what I mean? And I think, like you say, I think there's a few fans that just realistically stood back and thought, "I don't know a minute," where most of us just went, "Oh, this is fantastic." Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're reaping the benefits of them two coming in, aren't we?
Yeah, I was the same. Sorry, Sean. I was the same, Colin. I was like, Stuart Donald, Ellis Short's gone. Yes, we got the money. Come on. And then, Sean, if you remember, it was Sunderland 0, Doncaster 0. And you interviewed me outside the stadium, and I said, "What is Donald doing? He's got all this money. Get your wallet out. Get some players." And what do we get? We got loan players, and that's when I was like, "Nah, get him out. Get him out."
He just, like, as we were talking earlier on, they gambled on us getting promoted in that first season, didn't they? They didn't have a plan B or a plan. They just thought, "We'll come in, cut the costs, get them promoted, and then
And you know they were that close, weren't they? The playoffs, they were that close, and if they'd done it and took the cut and went once they got the championship, we would have been none the wiser. Would have just thought, bollocks, we got up, we're promoted. But nah, it just backfired on them.
We say, they can't be mates with each other, and Juan's from Uruguay and he's from France and all this, right? I remember the Checker Trade Trophy final against Portsmouth. Obviously, all the major directors sit in the directors' box at Wembley, and I remember watching Sunderland Till I Die Series 2, and Ellis Short was in the directors' box that day with them two stooges up in the gods, and you would think, this bloke has took this club down here. Why would you want him at this game when the fans don't like him, and he's the reason why we're here? Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think they're all connected somehow. They're all connected, I'm sure.
I'll get your views on KLD just before we go, but I mean, I'll start with Carl. Where does KLD go from here? I mean, he come in, you thought it was a new chapter. He's a multi-billionaire. His family's got a great background in football. With KLD being sort of, he's light to the fans in a sense. What does KLD do now, Carl, going forward?
Sell up. Literally, you've lied to the fans. You promised us that you're going to buy the club outright. Even it's like a couple of % shares to whoever. So be it, you've got to be the outright owner. We're going to spend so much money in transfers, build a whole new club. Literally, get out of this division, and you lied. You've lied about who's got what in the club. Time to go. Sorry, KLD, it's time to go. It's a big boys game. You're not learning. Get out. Let's bring someone else in.
Carl, do you think he can turn it around? Though, if he in that meeting tomorrow, if he says that he'll buy them three, them three out. If he buys Donald, Mifflin, and Sartori, if he buys them out and he says, "I'm going to buy them out. I'm going to own the club and I'll be calling the shots." If he said that, do you think the fans would say, "Well, fair enough," or do you think he's lied and you think it could be the end of the road for him going forward?
All I say is this on that one, Sean. I believe it when I see it.
Colin, what's your feelings on it? Can KLD, can he get out of this, or do you think he's...
Like I say, I think it's like what I said before. I think he's got two options. I think he either comes out and says, right, he's got to buy these out somehow, get them out of the club, and he becomes majority shareholder, or even to the point where he is the majority shareholder, even if they are still hanging on in the background, but he has a fully controlling stake. That is an option. But again, if he can't do that and they are hanging on for the bigger money, then he needs to go as well, because like I say, he is as culpable as them. So, and it doesn't matter now what they're going to say. If they all stick together and don't do anything about this situation, we're not going to believe a single word that comes out of any of their mouths. Not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that is massively damaging for them.
Thomas, KLD, can he turn it around, or do you think the writing's on the wall for him now going forward?
I agree with everything that Carl and Colin have just said. I think it's about time we took action against this. It's the only way we're going to get it out, whether that's a protest, whether that's not going. We need to hound these out. We need to do what Blackpool did. They hounded their owners out. It took a while, but they hounded the owners out, and they took over their club as a fan consortium. And look where they are now. They're above us. They're in the next league. They're prospering. They've got a good young manager who likes attacking football. And I don't think this, in my opinion, I want them all gone. I think we need to start afresh, the whole board, I'm afraid. I think Methven, Wan, Donald and Dreyfus all need to go. I think Speakman needs to go. I know it's a bit unfair on the manager, but I know you like him, Sean, but I'm not too sure on him. It seems very unfair because he's just come in, and I'll give him a chance. I'll support him until I believe that he's no good. But I think the club just needs a clean slate across the whole board, I'm afraid.
I actually think he's a good manager, to be honest. Just to throw that in there.
I do. I mean,
if what was available,
I'll agree with you there. He was the best of a bad bunch, probably.
I mean, a lot of people say about Roy Keane, saying that Roy Keane, he's a certain type of manager, and if something doesn't go his way, he just kicks the toys at the pram, and he's on his bike, sort of thing, and he's an all-star manager. He's managed one way.
I would have had Warnock, wouldn't he?
Neil Warnock to the end of the season.
Yeah.
Well,
even 18-month contract.
That's a shout. But I see it's the Sunderland fans. It's a case of waiting to see what happens tomorrow. But we all know the situation now. We know the who's got what.
How can it get any worse?
I think it's not the plug-in, isn't it? It's just the fans is just it's another kick in the teeth for the supporters.
Yeah.
Us supporters who've been so loyal. But when you see people like Charlie Methven at the games sitting looking at cozy with KLD, when he's sitting there with KLD,
I love it when they wear the little blankets.
What's he doing at the games? You know what I mean? And that's just got people thinking, and then they're being mumbled, and then KLD's had to come out tonight, and he's had to say before the meeting tomorrow, look, this is the situation. Thomas,
Sean, I just want to ask you: do you think KLD's finished here?
To be fair, if he sided with them three, then he's part of the problem as well, isn't he? I mean, I just thought KLD, he's come in, he's a young billionaire, and he'll have a lot of ambition. He'll have a lot of ambition to get this club where it should be. That's back to the Premier League. I think that we knew that they were going to have a smart. Well, I see a smart percentage. We assumed they were going to have a smart percentage, but with this coming out, I mean, they still got the majority by having 59%. When he first come into the club, he's the chairman. He could have just been honest then, as if he's just part of the problem by lying with them. And I don't know how he can sort of get himself out of this. And the only way he can for me is if he says, "Look, I put my hands up. I was wrong. I got it wrong. I'm going to buy these three guys out, and I'll have full control of the club going forward." But is it, is he sort of?
The trust's gone, isn't it?
That's
the only thing he can really come out with and say it and do for him to be accepted again. Mm-hmm. Literally, that's the only thing he could possibly do. And if they're not willing to sell their shares, then we're in a catch-22 situation. I mean, does he want to sell them? Did he only want 41% initially? He's just doing that. We didn't know nothing. We told nothing.
That's what I'm saying, because they were so NDA signed on the takeover, so they couldn't speak about So that's straight away. It's gonna ring alarm bells, isn't it? And they're thinking, why they're not disclosing who's got what? Why they're not?
Because they have the opinion. Why should the fans need to know? They know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, the fans is the club. It's it's the heartbeat of the football club. Mm-hmm. I know we bang on about how brilliant our attendances are, but if it wasn't for our attendances, we wouldn't be the club we are. We wouldn't have the 49,000 seat Stadium of Light. We wouldn't be selling out away. We'd just be another mediocre club. That's why their interest's there by these two leeches, because they want as much money out of us as they can. And
because
they just think we're a bunch of mugs.
Our loyalty.
Yeah. And that's we're actually being punished for being not loyal. I hate this thing where we're the reason, we're the toxic. We're not the toxic problem. It's them. The only reason we're getting on their backs is because they're not running our football club properly.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it is our football club. We'll still be here. Fans will still be here, supporting it through thick and thin. Owners go, managers gone, players gone.
Yeah,
and they take their cut, but we're still here. We've got to pick up the pieces, and we're the ones out. We've got to live with it week in, week out, on weekends when we've just been battered. I mean, I'd love to go to the away matches. I can't get to the away matches because I've got that many commitments. So I'm a season ticket holder for the home games, and I go home absolutely gutted some games, and I'd hate to be thinking I was coming back from Portsmouth away after a 4-0 drubbing on a watered pitch. Do you know what I mean? Like. They just completely take advantage of what people actually commit to when they support this football club, and how much money they spend, and the dedication, what they give up.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to the live chat there.
Yeah.
PCG says, "Well, lads, I've worked there as a steward at the Steam Line for a canny few seasons, and I reckon sometimes big trouble, big style. I agree, a good clear out, and obviously I'm not at the Steam Line now, which he's just speaking for a few people there, to be fair. And it's
do you know which word I hate the brand about all the time?
What's that?
The word philosophy. There is no philosophy. The Johnson came out with it, Speakman comes out with it, and the owners come out with it. There is no philosophy. The philosophy that we're following is going to end this club in League 2. I'm telling you. They're just gonna see what they do, right? They've got an owner who used to own a National League club, and he's slowly digressing this club into a National League club.
Yeah.
But it took them less than a season to strip it back that much that we became a League One club.
Yeah.
Do you know what the daft thing is, right? If they hadn't been greedy and they'd kept Josh Madger, they would have got promoted.
I think so as well.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But because they were greedy.
Yeah. like you see as well, if you just joined us, please hit that thumbs up and remember to subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost a penny. You only take a couple of seconds to subscribe. Please subscribe, spread the word if you wouldn't mind.
And then they roll out that excuse that, but we spent £4 million on Will Grigg. No, they didn't. Never spent £4 million on him. I'm sorry, like no way.
I think it was 1.5, and then it would risen to 4 million on appearances and obviously goal. And then
got the Premier League and that.
The Premier League, yeah.
It's a lot of rubbish.
Yeah.
They sold Magic for about 2.
It's just, I think we all down up there.
No, I mean, I remember listening to the Rotor Report podcast when they were going, we want 100 points this season. And this was the same transfer window where they spent 400 grand on George Dobson, and that was it.
It's but
another failed transfer who left us on a free. This is another thing I don't get. Like, you know, we bought George Dobson for what, 300 grand. We'll let him go on a free, right? He was contracted at this football club. So why didn't Charlton? We want George Dobson. So why didn't we turn around and go, okay, give us 100 grand then? Not we'll give him away on a free. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This makes you wonder now, the last couple of transfer windows, we've sort of we have spent money but not much, and you're thinking if a young billionaire's going to come in, surely you kind of put some money into the team.
I know in January, obviously, we spent, what was it, 700 grand on Trey Hume?
Yeah, Trey Hume.
And obviously, was it 700 again? No, I think it was it 200 grand on Hume and 700 on Matete?
Matete, 700,000 on Matete, yeah.
So that's, say, about £1 million, say, we spent in January, right? But what people, I don't think, recognise is that, you know, obviously O'Brien left, Flanagan left, and there's somebody else left. And if you read the statements when they left, it says at the bottom that they left for undisclosed fees. So they got money back on buying them players in January, but they won't disclose how much they got for them.
But anyway.
They're not stupid, but the way they do it is discreet to the fact that people don't notice. Because they're slimy and they're liars. Yeah,
exactly. It's but anyway, I think we've been on for an hour and a half. I think we've probably talked about everything we need to talk about. Like you say, there's still 160 people in the chat though. That's why I'm trying to keep it going.
I need to go anyway and practice some Proclaimer songs without Paul.
All right.
We'll walk 5,000 miles to the stadium.
Right. Right, no bother, Colin. Thanks for tuning in, though, Colin, as well.
No worries. Take care.
It's nice to meet you, Colin.
Nice to meet you, mate. Take care.
See you later.
Cheers, Colin.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
How long have we got left, Sean?
We've still got 160 people in the live, so that's why I'm just trying to keep that going.
Keep it going till 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I was just trying to make some comments out as well. I try to keep the people involved in the live chats. Obviously, Keisha Cameron, Joanne Punchin, Alan Robinson. The trouble with our fans are they are prepared to put up with mediocrity. It's time to stand united and protest. You know, that's.
I agree.
That's well said, mate. It's it's end of the day. That's a part of the problem. People accepting mediocrity, isn't it? That's part of the problem.
I think, you know, obviously there's always going to be conflict between the boo boys call people happy clappers and people call people boo boys. Do you know what I mean? There's always going to be a conflict between the boo boys and the happy clappers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think in the space of 3 weeks, I didn't think it was possible, but this football club has actually ruined this season, completely shattered it like a pane of glass with a hammer, and divided the fan base all in the space of 3 weeks.
And it's unbelievable.
I didn't think it was possible.
But it makes you wonder now, when it took them 2 weeks to bring a manager in, and I think it's sort of, you know, you realise that that's the reason. I mean, you know, how can you set a manager, right? How can you set a manager and not have another one lined up? Apparently, Alex Lear was spoken to literally 48 hours after the sacking. So why was it? I think they must have thrown all the eggs in one basket with the Roy Keane thing. But as we keep on saying, Roy Keane's
they try to sweep all this ownership thing under the carpet. I think they thought if they could get Roy Keane in, that would sort of like distract from the ownership situation a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were trying to like sweep it under the carpet a little bit, but obviously that's backfired completely. And now they've ended up with this situation.
Yeah. Oh, it's
You've got 400 parcels to deliver tomorrow, Sean.
I thought I'll put that on. I was just saying it now. He's, another guy who works at the.
I wish you could just take Methven and Donald away in the van with all their parcels.
Yeah.
Send back to Eastleigh.
When did he get 100 likes? I need to take some pain relief soon, because I took some about 5 o'clock, so it's starting to wear off a bit now. But I've been feeling really poorly the last couple of days. Whew. Good. Anyway, what time is it now? 10 now. It's been a good show. It's not great that we've had to speak about what we've had to talk about, but all in all, it's it's just the way it is. But now it's come to light that KLD 41 is it Stuart Donald 34 20 for Sartori and 5 for Salmon Pans. It's I like to know now, but I think that meeting tomorrow is going to be interesting with
so what's 31? Yeah, that's right.
Carl?
Occasions just said we're on 102 likes now on the stream. Also, I want to point out what Acacia said in the live chat. I think we should do this, do it Birmingham style, because their fans, they protest every home game. The owners are nearly out, and literally get a banner. Metfern, Duck, and the other one out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have that banner. I'll get one ready for Burton.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that.
I would like one of them and all.
Yeah, I think it's going to be there's going to be some protests. I think in the next few days. I think I've thought of it and things like that. As Giles is saying, Madrox Out class show. Been watching a while. Cheers, Giles, lad. You see, it's just. I think it's a proper kick in the teeth. This, and it's not going to go down very well at all. I think, just them having 59% of the shares, and it's unbearable, isn't it, lads? It's like you're thinking that we've gotten rid of them, or they've only got a little small share, but what do we know? Just goes to show we don't know nothing. And they've lied from the start. They've lied all the way through the tenure, and they're still lying now. It's unbelievable, but I'll be there Saturday. I'm sure you guys will be there as well.
I'm stuck at work Saturday, but I'll be there on the Burton game.
Could get a bit toxic, I think.
I'm going to Burton.
Are you doing the pre-match interviews before the MK Dons game, Sean, on Saturday?
I'm not sure because I've been doing them all season, but we've been having issues with the connection. I don't understand what's going on with the connection. I honestly don't know because I'm not doing anything different. I've been on the phone to Vodafone. I've recently said I don't know what's going on. So
maybe it's Donald and Methven trying to cut your signal off.
But I mean, hopefully I'll be doing a pre-match, but I'm not 100% certain because I don't know. You see, if it's going to be a dodgy connection, then I don't know. But Matthew says, "Carl, I thought you were having a break from YouTube."
Yeah, I'm going through a little bit mental health issues. Lauren Kenny, good friend of mine. We all know Lauren. She's given me a number. I've contacted him. I've spoke to him tonight, and they're linking me up with a couple of services to help me out to get me past this mental block what I'm having at the minute. So at the minute, it's all going good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
There you go. Anything more to add, lads? We've been on
Not going to let it be.
So I'll just quickly before I go, I'll just say into the live chat. KLD, do you think he should? What can he do now to get the fans back on his side, or do you think he's the writing's on the wall for him because he's lied to us from the start, and he's been sort of siding with them. It's not going to look good
on the wall for me, Sean. I won't trust him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
So do you see it?
Like I said earlier, if he buys out me with 3, I believe it when I see it.
Oh well, I think we'll call it a deal. And like you say, it's been a good show. Been a good show. Apologies about the the reason for us coming on. The Madrox out, but I think it had to be addressed. It was rumoured, but today it was confirmed with the shares, and I don't know where the club goes from here. We're a new manager in place. We've got to try and get behind the team on Saturday, but it's just a massive kick in the teeth in that meeting tomorrow. I'd love to be a fly in the wall. I'd love to be there, but obviously I can't. But anyway, thanks for everyone who tuned in the live chat. Thanks to the people who subscribed. Hit the like button. Join us on Friday for Fans React Friday. Hopefully I'll
be. Are you on Friday, Sean?
I'm not sure. I might be because I think I'm bad at the minute, so I might be able to do Fans React Friday. But thanks to everybody.
I'll come on. I'll be on.
We'll start, I think Matthew will be sorting that out. But thanks everybody who tuned in. So from myself, Sean Middleton, Thomas, and other guys, Carl Mawson, Paul, and Colin. Thanks for you guys as well. Stay safe. I'm trying to get the thing, ban them up, so I can get the rundown. I've done it wrong again. And bye for now.